aka the Divine Mind Podcast. I'm your host. It's cool saying that. I'm gonna get enjoyment saying that every time. How y'all doing? Good. If not, I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm speaking I'm speaking positive vibrations and life over everybody. Give yourself grace right now. I can't put it no more simple and plain than that. We all need to be giving ourselves and identifying things to be grateful for, but giving ourselves grace in the process of trying to figure out how to get through the things we are trying to be grateful for or the things that we're trying to navigate through. Get your hands on some really good books. Books, journals, the good word. Get your hands on some books. Get your hands on some literature. I think as much as I say, because it's not even at this point, stuff ain't even funny no more. Like I kiki and I sit down and it's like, okay, jokes. But I'm past the point. It's like, ain't nothing really funny. I feel so many feelings, not just from the weeks I've been having and just navigating through such a crazy time. I'm always trying to find things to be grateful for. And I'm always trying to find ways to, Lord, I just be trying to find ways. And what I know is that I'm still learning. And I know that giving yourself grace is not the easiest thing. But I do think it's a necessity. And I think if you can support people and encourage people and not be judgmental of people, you shouldn't be doing that to yourself. Like, I feel like it's a lot of times people give advice and give feedback. Where am I going with this? If you would speak positive over somebody else and you would tell them, give yourself grace and it's going to take time and don't beat yourself up, then you need to be giving yourself grace. You need to understand that stuff going to take time and you need to be doing what you're telling other people to do, because that's the thing about grace. You can give it out, but you also need to be giving it to yourself. And honestly, if you learn how to continuously give it to you, then that's just a byproduct. You naturally give grace to others. When you have a relationship with yourself, you know how to have interpersonal relationships. And we need interpersonal relationships right now. We need personal relationships. We need to be in community. We need to be in therapy. Everybody grab a pen and a notebook. If you're driving, maybe you have YouTube Premium and you can watch while the screen is dark. However, in all seriousness, don't show up to class without no journal. Don't show up without just show up prepared. Because we are past the point of dark humor and being cynical. I really want change. I'm really quite tired. I'm seeing a lot of the same things. I'm going to talk about getting your thoughts down on paper. I'm going to talk about decompressing. And I'm going to always, if I ain't just say this, I'm going to preach and encourage people to give themselves grace. But I'm going to be honest. You can give yourself grace all you want to, but it's like, give yourself, if you choosing to give yourself grace for something, I mean, give yourself grace in every way. But you might need to get in therapy. You might need to, you might need to seek some external outside support. And I'm not talking about your friend group, because that's a lot of times you talking to your friends who may be as blind or as perplexed as you are. And a lot of times in psychology, it's just a form of, if you asking somebody something, if you asking somebody advice on something, and then somebody you know, or it's a group of friends, they all may have varying opinions. But I feel like you might have a group of 5 people. It's like you might have a group of 5 people that's like rubber stamping and like, you know what I'm saying? But if you asking advice from them people, they probably gonna try to give you advice that's tailor made to fit what they think you gonna want to say, or they gonna they gonna draw their own conclusions. In essence, what I'm saying, God, what am I saying? I'm saying that you can't surround yourself with, your therapy got to be outside your friend group. A lot of friend groups be weary and weird as it is. You can't. I've had relationships with people, and I mean people in totality, who, how do I say this? What am I saying? You can't ask people necessarily that you know for advice. And the thing is, it's like if you ask somebody for advice on something or whatever, or ask they take on something, I mean, it might be a skewed perspective. And you can't really necessarily confide in your friends for everything. I mean, in terms of like when you think about in the medical field, when you doing like, in order to keep stuff like private and like separate and like carrying on, and just to protect like the identity of the patient, you gotta have some type of like signed form, and you gotta how am I trying to say this? What am I trying to say? Your friends ain't the best therapists. A lot of y'all friends are not the best friends or people, but you can't go to your friend group and expect to get properly therapized. I'm not saying, I'm not going to tell you what or what, I don't care what therapy you got, but I do think sometimes it may be talk therapy. It can't be all the stuff. You can't therapize yourself 24/7. You got to have people, I feel like, I know. You got to have people outside the people that's in close proximity to you. And you got to really have a place that's not biased. Can you really bring your issues to the table of a friendship or a relationship when, if that's your only source? Sometimes you got to get on the big comfy couch. I almost called this podcast the big comfy couch, because that's sometimes what it takes. Virtual therapy, in-person therapy, I don't care what it is. You cannot fix or find the root of everything in a journal or in a Bible, because people think sometimes that the only thing that you have to do is pray stuff away in order for God to move. And that's interesting, because God more often than not is waiting on us to move. What I'm talking about is like, God might want you to get into therapy. Religion and science and psychology is funny. Everything got its own lane. It's a place for everything. Everything is made for something. But it ain't gonna be just prayer. It ain't gonna be just prayer. You know why it ain't just prayer? Because there's a lot of people praying to the same God with different agendas. There's a lot of people praying, but they are terrible people. That prayer is the only solution. Prayer and meditation are synonymous. That you gonna go through a mental breakdown and only pray about it. I'm not saying that prayer, y'all can say what you want to say. I know how essential prayer is, because if prayer is essential, because without it, I wouldn't be sitting here. I get direction and clarity from God. There are people put in place in life who are resources. And sometimes that means going to sit on the couch. That means going to talk to a psychiatrist. We got to get out of these rooms. God. I hate these apps. I hate them. I can't stand them. I just want to be off in the forest. I just want to be, bro. Like, I just want to be. Why can't we all just go out of nature and just vibe? Like, just be with vibes. Like, I just don't. We gonna all have to learn how to really We just gonna have to learn how to take care of ourselves. And when I talk about therapy, how that's like one of the ultimate ways to care for yourself. But I ain't gonna lie, I don't particularly always care to talk about my feelings. I don't always care to talk about my feelings. In fact, I'm learning to be okay with talking about them. I'm learning to actually accept what feelings are, what they mean. I'm learning to just accept, because what the heck is going on? Like I said, sometimes I just want to go off into the forest and just be. You can't just disappear off into the woods expecting to avoid or escape what's back like from where you came from. And that's, I don't always want to have to show up and like be something because I don't always want to do them things. Sometimes I need encouragement, sometimes it's support. Sometimes life just is a lot. Sometimes you just need somebody to help you cope. You need somebody to give you strategies that's outside the circle of people that might be in the same think tank or barrel as you. Since I gotta spell it out, I'm gonna get y'all minds in order. Because if you don't get your mind in order, it's gonna be your biggest enemy. Or you could get it in order and make it your greatest asset. And gonna get it all out of going to sit in the back row of a church. People that's claiming to be praying and doing all this stuff and dealing with literal demons. You know, the devil can't, y'all, come on now. We want to get biblical. The enemy wasn't the enemy. Y'all know. Just because you in the church, just because you claim, just man, there's plenty of people that's claiming to people praying to God, but who is God and what God are you praying to and what are you doing outside of church? I don't know. People put band-aids over real life problems, and that religion is gonna do it, whether that's you not taking accountability for it, whether that's just you refusing to accept that you have something going on. But I'm very much, it's like, dang, you know what's wrong with you. You know what's wrong with you because I'm telling you what's wrong with you. You know what's wrong with you because your mama telling you what's wrong with you. You know what's wrong with you because your actions and the things that you are experiencing as a result of your actions. Y'all know what I be saying, and I'm gonna keep saying it. And when I talk about therapy, come on, bro, gotta get that stuff off you. I'm not saying you can't talk to your friends. I ain't saying you can't talk to your cousin. I ain't saying you can't talk to your man. Depending on who you're talking to, it's going to depend on the answer you get about what you should do with your man. Might want your man. Somebody might have a skewed perception or idea of what relationships even are, and they can give you some type of bias, BS type of insight. Now you confused, looking like the Mr. Krabs meme because you got all of these opinions and stuff going on. It's like, you got all these opinions and all this insight. Well, what's true and what's not? I think you got to go to a credible, maybe source. Afraid to step into a therapy office. This ain't even intended to be all about therapy, but let's just keep it funky. Some of y'all needs to be in therapy. You get necessarily to the root of the trauma that's going on. If you don't have nobody asking you the right questions all day and think you doing something. Like, can you imagine straining your ankle and just going home and say, well, the pain will blow over. I'm going to just put my hand over my ankle and pray about it. Like, no, if something is really going on with you mentally, I'm going to be honest and say, and I already said, and I'm going to say, it ain't always the most enjoyable experience, but it's one of those things I'm learning to understand that is a necessity. It's something that you have to really just try. It's not something you always gonna feel ready for. It ain't something that's appealing, because who likes to revisit stuff pent up? It's to not deal with. You can't deal with everything on your own. That's why you dealing with what you dealing with. Emphasis on the pause. You get into this situation, you don't know, and we just don't know everything, man. Outside help, and the help you get, you could take that out and spread that energy. Like, you get the help you need, you become more positive, you change as a person, you take that energy and you carry it out into the world. I think 19 Keys had like a psychiatrist. He wasn't a physicist. It's like black dude psychiatrist. He not a psychiatrist. He's like into physics or whatever, but he's just like talking about love and frequency 500 people at the frequency of 500 hertz raises the frequency of or to true love. I think about like Mother Teresa, people like Gandhi, that the only way to actually have peace was to avoid evil or anger. You need to be in therapy so you can figure out how to give it and how to receive it. We just need to get in therapy, bruh. We need to get in therapy so we can start identifying what's going on. Everything that you are as an adult is tied to your childhood. A lot of people ain't getting to the root of their childhood problems. And when I talk about giving yourself grace, that's why sometimes I don't want to look at y'all. Because a lot of this stuff, it's like, give yourself grace, but don't be dumb. Don't be repetitive. And in terms of therapy, don't be walking around with the same. If I understand, like, you may not, it may be painful. It might be hard to sit in front of me on this couch, or like on your couch in front of me on this couch. Truth is worse than a tattoo, and those to be don't hurt at all. Difficult because the situation is or was difficult, but you can't live in your past and you can't live in your pain. And a lot of people need to get to the root of what the heck is going on with them. What are you avoiding? What are you dealing with? And can't nobody choose to put you in therapy, bro. It's like being on crack. Being on crack. Can't nobody make you get off that. Frank Lucas was selling blue magic. Like, ain't nobody about to make you stop doing that. Ain't nobody about to stop making you do that. Like, to get to healing ourselves. And in order to do that, you got to make the choice to get healing. Healing yourself is a choice. To heal yourself is not to do a bunch of introspective work. A part of like healing yourself and wanting to heal yourself, help that you can't get in your house, in that bed that you can't get from under. Therapy it's a resource, it's a tool. Maybe you do need to be praying more. Maybe you do need one of these. I would suggest the King James Version if I'm referencing it, but also the New Living Translation, whatever you want to call it. You might need to get your hands on the Bible. You just might need to. You got to learn to use your tools. But it's not a Band-Aid. I think a lot of times people use religion as a Band-Aid. I got that so bad that y'all confuse the minds. People be thinking so many things about what God is and who God is and what God looks like. God put the power in you and the ability in you to do the things that you need to do while you're on earth. Everything ain't about you praying. Everything, a lot of it, you got the answers. God then gave y'all some of the answers and you still praying, God, what do I do? God probably be looking at some of y'all like, what did I say? It's just, you got to use your tools. Sometimes that's therapy. Sometimes that's journaling. We need to be striving to be more healthy. When people think health, they think gym. Healthy don't have really nothing to do with going to the gym. That don't really have nothing to do with it. Because I've been going to the gym a long time and I wasn't necessarily doing it. I might not even click this. What was I trying to say? Being healthy. I think I'm kind of losing track, but I'm going to just flow. I think we need to be working on our health, our mental, our emotional, and not limited. You might need a stronger prayer life. You might be emotionally intact, but you might need to be praying about something from the past. I'm trying to say that healing is important. You sitting by yourself all day on the couch anyway. You sitting by yourself all day on the couch anyway. You might as well get up and call a therapist. You might as well subscribe. You might as well like, share, and comment. You might as well do something. But to think that you're going to sit in the same room, generating the same energy in the same room, the same environment, the same things, where you think the change going to come from? What's going on? Therapy might mean getting the heck off this app. I ain't going to cap y'all down. I'm not going to lie. I would much rather be off the grid. I was kind of at peace when Instagram wasn't working for it whenever it wasn't working. It's become such a comparison thing. And seeing something that I thought it's a comparison, it's become just such an irritant. I'm just so sick of even having to showcase stuff. But part of being healthy might mean turning that phone off, turning it off, disconnecting, associating. But whatever it is that you're doing, you need to be making sure that you're staying healthy. You need to be making sure that what you have around you is adding to you. Who you have around you is adding to the person that you are. Or is they robbing you? Because if you got somebody around you that's, man, they say health is wealth, but healthy is not about going to the gym. It's not what you eating per se. A lot of health issues are tied to energy. Every health issue is tied to energy. Every single one. Every physical problem, every ailment, every it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of unforgiveness. But if we get in therapy and start getting to the root of what's going on, it wouldn't result in us having cancers and things that like could be avoided and things that like, man, it's just like we need to get in therapy so we can regulate ourselves. My God, if ever there was a time for us to learn how to self-regulate, there's now. People love to say, I'm waiting on God, I'm waiting on God. Where you think God gonna show up at? You think God on the East Coast and you in Southwest Detroit? You think the God is in Tallahassee and you in Switzerland? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all work out. The Bible say work out your own tribulation and pain and suffering. I'm not finna, you know what I'm saying? But I am saying, I mean, y'all need to have an understanding of who God is and like carrying on. But it ain't God per se. You the one with the problem. And a lot of times you're praying repetitive prayers. How insulting is it for you to pray to, in your case, which y'all might consider a big black guy in the sky? How insulting is it to pray repeatedly, God, please, 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 and you doing the same stuff. You not making no changes, but you expecting that God is either going to just keep doing it or bro, stop putting everything on God. Get your actions together. Because people say, I'm going to just pray about it. I'm going to just pray about it. You might need to change something. God gave you everything you needed. You think God made you, you think that God put everything in seed form and he didn't give you what you needed when you was born, when you was thought of, when you were like, God might be looking at some of us like, he looking at a lot of us like that because a lot of us is just distracted. But stop praying for God to do something when you choosing to put yourself in precarious situations. Stop praying to God to do something. God, if you just get me out of this one situation time, just get me out of this one time. It's like people who used to take it's like raw dogging and getting pregnant or having to take Plan Bs and you saying, God, if you just get me out this situation one more time, I promise. Hey, no, you need to just stop. You need to just heal. It ain't, you can't keep doing the same stuff and expecting stuff to change. And you can't continuously pray to God to see better results or to have better outcomes when you choosing to put God on the back burner for whatever it is you're doing. You choose to put him on the back burner, but when you need him, it's just, sometimes I lose track. Sometimes I be frustrated, and sometimes I just don't know what to say. But you got the answers. You just need to you need to look within yourself. Y'all looking at everything and looking inside everything, but you. How that work? That's why Instagram be the problem. The minds of them are shot. Y'all need to work on y'all. Get in therapy. Get to healing. And I'm going to be honest, I'm in therapy and working on it as well. I'm learning that my reactions are not necessarily the best reactions. I'm learning that I need to continue to give myself grace, but I also need to make sure I'm doing certain work too. So, we all learning together. We all figuring this stuff out together. But we need to be taking active steps, giving yourself grace, but also making sure that you holding yourself accountable and taking accountability and responsibility for the things that's going on. Man, we need to be taking more accountability. We need to be podcasting better. I hate the way some of y'all podcast. Maybe I just want to throw that in there. A lot of these podcasters, y'all don't be healing. Y'all be is demise. Some of y'all don't need to be podcasting, to be honest. You're not saying anything. And you're certainly not making a safe space for people. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I think we all could do a little bit better. Yeah. Get the help you need. Get the therapy you need. Get what you need so that you can have what you need. Did I say that right? I think so. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank y'all for being here. Pretty cool. I'm mid 20s. Mid 20s. I would also encourage y'all to go for your dreams. Go for the things that you think or that you dream about, the things that you want to do, the things that you might not feel like you can do. Ain't none of us making it out of this mug alive. So you might as well go streaking in New York City if you want to. Whatever you gonna do. It's like T.I. said, if you make pies, if you just make them the best. But whatever it is that you do it because you want to. Go for your dreams. Go for the things that you're passionate about. Go for the things you love. Go for the things that, man, just go for everything. Go for everything. Don't let nobody stop you. Don't be scared. And just lock in on you. Lock in on you. And part of locking in on you is getting the help you need, which is therapy. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thank y'all for being here. It's always a pleasure. Thank God. And I'll tap in with y'all, what? Next week? Thank y'all for being here.